Good afternoon, everyone. I am James V. Locklear, your host of the Lumbee Voice podcast, coming to you live from downtown Scuffletown, right off the banks of the Lumbee River. Have three talented young Lumbee ladies with me today. Yeah, a lot of smart people in this. At least three smart people in this room here. Ladies, introduce yourself. We'll start right down here.
Okay, my name is Madison Oxendine.
All right, where you from, Madison?
I'm from Pembroke, 5 minutes on the road.
All right, who's your people?
It's Michelle Oxendine and Mark.
And Mark. And you're my former Wakulla native, Arthur Oxendine, the late great Arthur Oxendine, I might add. You're his granddaughter.
I am.
Yeah, good to meet you. Glad to have you here. And I know your people, and I know. Just tell everybody who you are.
My name is Tehya Bullard. I'm from Lumberton, North Carolina. My parents are Tara and Ryan Bullard. They've worked in public school system here for over 20 years now. And I'm also in education now, continuing the family tradition.
Cool.
But yeah, I'm currently in grad school, and I graduated from UNC Chapel Hill in 2024 with my bachelor's degree.
All right. And you're Jackie's granddaughter and
Jackie
Dexter's
and
granddaughter.
Yes.
Yeah. And Dexter and I worked out together.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
He
of course,
still works out every morning.
oh yeah, Dexter was a beast. He was he was a little older back then. You know, I was about 30 and Dexter was 43, so you know he was like the old man back there with us. And let me
Yeah.
tell you, he was an absolute beast.
Yeah, he still
Yeah.
is.
And Jackie, of course, she was the one of the vice chancellors when I first started publishing at the university.
Soccer at UNCP, so I'm also in education for over 20 years as well. I play soccer at UNCP, so I'm a part of that team. For over 20 years as well. I play soccer at UNCP, so I'm a part of that team. And yeah, I just finished up my freshman year, so I'll be starting my sophomore year. And
All
I
right.
live in Deep Branch.
Deep Branch,
area.
right there on the river. I met your mama during the flood.
Oh, okay.
I was coming through there, and I ventured across that swollen
yeah.
riverbed there. Of course, I had a four-wheel drive, but it was still
that
kind
river was
It
all
was
the way
going
up.
still
the
kind of
road.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there at Low
Yeah.
Road.
Yeah.
Better
Yeah.
do it.
And so you play soccer at the university.
I do.
What
I do.
position do you play?
I play right wing.
All
Do you know
right.
anything about soccer?
You know what? I coached soccer for 2 years. But
Did you?
I was yeah, I'm serious. I was a soccer coach for two.
Okay.
Girls had a girls team, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
And I'd have them out running football drills. And, yeah, those girls, which they're, those girls are about 27, 28 now.
Right.
So, but anyway, it was a lot of fun because I'd have them out there doing football drills and nobody could ever understand that. But see, I didn't know a thing about soccer. I still don't. But I know a little bit about sports. And so I'm
Right.
like, hey, you get knocked down in soccer, you get knocked down in football. So you got to
Oh,
be
yeah.
tough. And I'd have them doing ups and downs and a lot of fun
Oh
stuff.
yeah, it's a contact sport, and it's not as
Yeah.
big here, too.
Right.
But it's growing. It's growing compared to when I was a little girl. There were so many more people playing. So.
Well, we started. Matter of fact, I'll give our town councilman Ryan there. So
Oh,
he's-
yeah.
yeah.
PSA.
Ryan. Oh yeah.
Pembroke Soccer
Thanks, Ryan.
Association.
Yeah, I was one of the first coaches there.
Really?
Yep. And I went to. We had our first meeting in Old District Courthouse, which is right to be right there. But yeah, we went in there and Ryan was like, "Oh, James, you." Yeah, the district courthouse used to be right there, but yeah, we went in there and Ryan was like, "Oh, James, you can do it, man. Come on," and
yeah.
talked me into it. And then I'm out there coaching. Take it to the hoop. Take it to the hoop.
Yeah.
And I'd always get picked at about that. And they've never forgotten it.
Yeah.
But that's great, though.
It is.
Yeah, and it's wonderful to see our community evolve and see things grow here because soccer was, you know,
Yeah.
it was nobody knew anything about soccer back then, and we've had several. Matter of fact, my cousin, Madison Chavis, Madison, she was a real good soccer player, and I think she played collegiately at. I want to say she played at Pembroke. I can't.
Madison played at UNCP and Abby
Yeah.
Lowry too.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
would be the third Lumbee
And that's
girl.
Brooks. That's Brooks' daughter, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would be the third Lumbee girl to play.
And you know what? I've been trying to get in contact with you too, so I can feature you in the paper. So you see how God works.
Oh, well, there it worked
Now
out.
we're in here
It
doing an
worked
interview
out.
with you.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit about your background, my friend. Yeah.
Hey, well, my mom has been in education for forever.
Mm-hmm.
And
What does she do?
She's a school social worker.
Okay.
So-
You mind which school?
Yeah, Pembroke Elementary. She's been there for forever.
The
Since
bees,
I
right?
went, yes. She's been there since I went. What else about me? I'm going into UNCP.
What year?
Technically, this is my first year, but
Okay.
I will be going in with the credits as a junior. Because
So you just graduated then?
When I just graduated high school
All right.
last month. And
Purnell.
No, early college.
Early college.
That's why I got my
So
associate's
you already
degree.
2 years ahead.
I
Yeah, you
am.
ahead of the game.
Yes, and I'm actually on the.
Them Oxendine girls are smart, y'all.
Right, we gotta do it.
You gotta do it.
But I'm actually a Spirit of Old Main scholar, so I'm going as
Oh,
a
cool.
full ride too.
Wow.
Yeah, and like we were talking about earlier, I got the Cobell scholarship.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm just feeling a little bit intimidated here.
Yeah.
Got all these really, really high IQ. Well, I'm working with about 600 here on my IQ here on the panel here. Yeah. All right, Miss Tehya.
Yes, so like I said earlier, I graduated, actually attended South Robinson for
Mustangs.
Yes, go
Mighty
Mustangs.
Mustangs. Had a lot of friends down there.
I love rolling. It's a little.
I do.
best-kept
I do
secret.
too. I did a video 2 days ago about rolling, and I really want to see rolling grow.
I went to South Robinson for high school for my freshman, sophomore. I went to South Robinson for high school for my freshman, sophomore, junior year up until it closed. And once Daring closed, I went to Lumberton High School, and I graduated from there in 2020. And so after that, that's whenever I went. I decided to go to UNC Chapel Hill, and I majored in human and organizational leadership development. Real long.
Wow.
But that program was housed within the School of Education at Carolina, so I had an education concentration in that field. And then I graduated in 2024. I actually crossed into Alpha Pi Omega.
All right.
Yes, first and largest Native American interest sorority in our country. And since then, I've served as a Next Step advisor with the Carolina College Advising Court at Fairmont High School. So the past 2 years, I've been serving that community. It's kind of bittersweet because I couldn't really serve South Robinson's community,
Right.
but I ended up being able to serve that greater community because our school closed. So it's kind of like a full circle moment for me whenever I came back home as an advisor. And I'm also currently a part-time graduate student at UNC Charlotte.
All right.
Studying urban education. And I just received the Cobell Graduate Scholarship for the 26-27
Well, listen.
academic year.
Like my uncle said, listen at him. And I guess going to be a golden tornado is probably the next best thing to be in a Mustang, right?
Right.
And I had a lot of great friends down there. Let me shout out the great Kevin Hunt, y'all. If y'all don't know Kevin Hunt, Kevin was a beast, all-state linebacker, and just an awesome guy. Randy Baker, another 3-sport star down there. And go over to Roland. Henry Graham. And I could just go on and on and on about Roland and South Robinson because we actually had a baseball team down there 20 years ago. I played baseball with those guys, and love the town of Roland. Sad that South Robinson closed because I'll be honest with you, I love to play baseball down there. We used to battle. Matter of fact, we took it down to the conference championship down there back in 1985. Steve Stackhouse.
Long time ago.
They gave Steve a home run. Steve, that ball bounced over the fence, brother. I know you're going to call me on this one. But anyway, yeah. Josie.
I graduated from Purnell Sweat last year, so this was my first full year at UNCP, but thanks to like the RCC credits I had, I'm already a junior. So
All right.
by spring semester, I should be starting my senior year officially at UNCP, but I am a political science major,
Okay.
and I have a minor in public relations, so I had to take a writing for the media class, and so
Oh, cool.
that was Maddie are together on
Yeah.
minor. I'm also an Old Main scholar, so me and Maddie are together on
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity, and recently, thanks to the federal recognition, I'm also a Cobell scholar now.
So that came about as the.
Yeah.
That's new. That's
With
only
federal-
for
It had to be
federal
federally
recognition.
recognized.
Wow.
Yes.
So let's
It's
go.
very
Let's.
new.
So we're on you already. Tell us what that meant for you.
Oh, it was because last year you weren't able to get
Right,
it because
yeah.
we were only partially recognized. So this would be the first year that people would. Well, Kennedy got it too.
Yes.
Kennedy had got it. They reinstated her. But and that it's 5,000, 5,000, right? But and I also play soccer at UNCP. So
Because you're going to have to do an internship,
keeps
right?
me so busy. So yeah,
Well, you got to come and see me now, because you're going to have to do an internship.
an internship.
And you're doing a writing for the media course.
That's part of my public relations.
Uh-huh.
So we had to do broadcasting, journalism.
Right.
It was the lady who taught the course.
Dr.
she-
Liddy? Is it Dr. Liddy?
No, her name was. It was hard to
Okay, well,
pronounce.
you're
Yeah.
good.
But she had worked for Fayetteville Observer and then somewhere up in Raleigh too. So
Wait a minute now. Fayetteville Observer. I worked at the Observer.
what was her name? It started with a C. Doctor.
Yeah,
I could think
we'll
of
get
it if I weren't trying to think
I'll
of it.
find
I'll
out.
get it back.
I'll find out who it
Yeah,
is. Though.
her husband was a preacher though.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. If I weren't trying to think of it, I could
You
tell
all
you.
right,
but
sis.
yeah.
Hey, that's
It
great
was-
stuff, though.
yeah, it
I'll
was-
tell you, being the
Dr. Cousins, yes, that's who it was, Dr. Cousins, yes, yeah, I loved her. She was
Dr.
great.
Cousins.
It was a very interesting
I
class.
don't know if I know Dr. Cousins. I know we used to have a club back in the day, Cousins. over in Hood County. That's for all of you old heads now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get the full federal recognition passed. Got that bill across the finish line. You get your Cobell scholarship. He says $5,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
up to 5,000.
Now, how much is that going to help you? You know, being $5,000 up versus being $5,000 in the hole and something you got to pay back.
Oh, it's an amazing opportunity, and being an Old Main scholar, so that's a full ride already.
Right.
So plus the 5,000, so that would come first, and then anything left over is what the Old Main pays for.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll be able to save money because I'm getting more money from the Copel scholarship.
And they can pass that
which-
scholarship money on to somebody
Yes,
else.
sir. So then
Yeah.
that opens doors for other students in the area,
Right.
and they're able to have more scholars. So when it was my turn to receive the scholarship, they only had funding available for 3 students. So it's me and 2 other girls. When it was Maddie's turn, due to all the outside scholarships the 3 girls had who received it
Right.
this year or last year, they were able to have 5 scholars this time.
Oh,
so Maddie
great.
plus 4 others. And then,
Yeah.
of course, with graduating class, too. It opens
Well,
more doors. So
You know what? I'm hoping, and I don't want to get on this too much, but with our proposed gaming amendment, that's one of the 5 areas that the IGRA, the gaming regulation, that's one of the 5 areas that you're allowed to spend the money in. How much of a help would that be, though, if you could? You got so many other kids that students, I should say, that won't qualify. How much of a help do you think that'll be for them? I'll go to you, Tehya.
I guess from my experience in our schools, because I've worked at one of our high schools for the past 2 years, and I've kind of seen just the systemic barriers and struggles that we have, just because our students are, and then on top of that, majority of our students are Lumbee students, so they are indigenous. So we're already, the schools that we have built in terms of, just our infrastructure, our schools were built, the schools that we have built, you might be able to help me out. They were built.
Last one, 1983, Pernell Sweat High School.
Yes.
But now we did have a replacement school built. Peterson Elementary was destroyed by the
Yeah.
tornado in '84, and I think they rebuilt it the year I graduated in '86, and I think they rebuilt it that year because I drove a bus and we had mobile units at the high school then. But yeah, but anyway,
Yeah.
a long time, 1983 to now. That's what,
it's
43 years.
Yeah, been decades since we've had newer facilities. And I think just with if that amendment passed, if we had access to that additional revenue, it would be like life changing. It would be generational for
Right.
our students. It would be generational for our generation now. But we're kind of, I guess, as a mid-20-year-old, I'm thinking of my children and my
Right,
children's children.
and your grandchildren,
Yes,
absolutely, as you
because
should.
they're gonna reap the benefits of that.
Yes.
The most. And so I think it opens the doors to so many more programs at our schools, whether that's, being able to have a designated office specifically for post-secondary planning and advising that is separated from guidance, that's separated from school counselors, because, they have their own caseload, and our counselors shouldn't have to take on that responsibility of advising or helping a student with their college application. That's a program that could be on its own if we had something like that. Or not even just at the high school level, and this is something I actually talked about in my Cobell essays. In my Cobell Scholarship graduate application was, what kind of programming or what kind of research or what kind of support do I think would be beneficial for our communities. And I really do feel like earlier post-secondary planning, whether that's middle school, I was in summer enrichment camps every summer as a child, and my mom and dad made sure of that. I was always at UNCP or UNC Chapel Hill at summer camps, and not every child here, not even the majority, have
very
have
few,
exactly
very
have
few
access to that. So expanding upon the programs that we already have would be really beneficial in terms of education. And we talk about, how are these people going to be qualified for these jobs at a potential resort. And I think it obviously starts with education.
Yeah.
And it also starts with our younger generation. I think that we need to shift the focus a little bit. Talk more about the young people, because it's a turning tide. And I feel like we have to, not only the young people trusting each other, but there's got to be equal levels of trust at all levels in order to benefit from this in a real way.
Right.
Well, this is such a
that?
refreshing concept. Go ahead.
And growing up playing soccer, in order to play at the collegiate level, because soccer wasn't available as much down here, I had to play club in Fayetteville. And growing up, we were in 9th grade, and the girls my age, they were talking about all the AP classes they had, all these resources that they had. And I'm like, we didn't get AP classes at Purnell Sweat until I was a junior in high school. So they were starting, and you didn't have them at all.
AP classes at all at South Robertson.
And so when they were talking about all their AP classes and everything, I felt like I was at a disadvantage, because even though I lived 30 minutes away from them, they were already so far ahead in their education.
Right.
And I was like, I don't feel like they're that much smarter than me, but they have so many more opportunities, and they're able to, start applying to. So they were applying to Chapel Hill and all these things, but they had so many things that they could say that they were a part of, but those resources weren't available to us. So through this funding and everything, I feel like, we will be able to have that advantage and finally be able to catch up in a way.
Absolutely. Yeah. But always remember one thing now. You're part of the smartest, most talented group of people, not just natives.
Absolutely.
You're the smartest and most talented group of people that God ever created here. And the most beautiful, too. Yeah.
Yes.
But zoom in on these young ladies. Look at that. Look at all that. Beauty and brains now, y'all. Yeah, this is our future right here. And like Josie just said, that's what it's about. And Tehya, it's the future generation. And we got 3 Cobell scholars here. Boy, that is intimidating. You know how tough that is to interview folks with 190 IQs. Madison, tell us a bit. How do you feel about this recognition piece? And first of all, tell me how excited were you when we finally, they said, hey, you're recognized. How exciting of an announcement was that for you?
Oh, I was definitely so excited. I was the one who was making Instagram posts before it was even happening. I was the one posting 575. Okay, that was me. I did that.
Yeah.
But no, it's so exciting. Not only because I can finally say, I'm federally recognized. I was able to say that, hey, I'm federally recognized, so y'all have to let me into some of this stuff, Cobell. Because I remember there being so much discourse last year when people were trying to apply to scholarships because education is not cheap.
No.
And they were not able to because we're not federally recognized, which is insane to me. But it is what it is. But I was so excited because I also am a part of McNayo. I don't know if you know what McNayo is. But so I was part of McNayo, so I'm seeing all of these tribes, all of these different people, and it's so disheartening to see, because yes, they are excited for us. They're because I've seen tribes on Facebook or Instagram, congratulating us and telling us they're so excited for us. And then I had to think about they still don't get these opportunities yet. Like, they don't get to have the Cobell scholarship. They don't get to have the opportunity to bring in more money or to help out their students. Because just like us, just like the Lumbee tribe, there's so many students who are smarter than us, who could do even greater things than us, but they may not have the chance, all because of federal recognition. So I was really excited, but it also breaks my heart a little bit because we do deserve it, but so does everybody else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where you ladies come in and play.
Yeah.
You know, you're our future leaders. So, 10 years from now, look where your career is going to take you. And when you get old like me, of course you'll still be young. God's giving you an opportunity now.
Right.
And you had the passion to make change, and always remember that. Do good things. Whatever talent the good Lord gives you, do good things with it. My talent is I'm a journalist and a historian, and I'm a picture man too. So 3 Cobells. I can write about a young soccer player, and now I got 3 Cobell scholars about a young soccer player, and now I got 3 Cobell scholars here to write about. Yeah, you ladies put a lot of work on me here, but that's it. Do good things with it, and always remember, you're representing your people, and you guys are doing a great job at it. By the way, I appreciate you coming on the show because you got to remember one thing. There's little kids out here, and some of them may have grown up like me. Single parent, my single mom. Rest in peace, my mother, Dorothy Woods. She raised me and, gave me a great upbringing. You got some kids out there that are less fortunate. They need role models to look up to, and that's where you ladies, that's where you come in. They can be, now they know they can be Cobell scholars one day.
Sure can.
Now they know they can go to Chapel Hill. They can play soccer at UNC Pembroke. They can do all of these things because of what you're doing. But, oh, wow. I'm about to, I'm going to catch myself, about to draw one here. Oh, inspirational.
Yeah.
Tehya, tell us some more about this. How do you feel about the recognition, Bill?
I was at work. I was at Fairmont whenever the federal recognition happened. I was live streaming it in my office. And I had students coming in and out asking me, there were some who were unaware. There were some who didn't know exactly what was going on. And so I feel like that was kind of like an out of body experience.
Right.
Like I've always heard like my grandparents and my mom and dad, my aunt and uncle talk about, that being a possibility and how hard it just seemed like it was impossible at one point. It was like a dream that we talked about but we didn't ever think it would actually happen. And then all of a sudden it happened. And I was in my office and I got really emotional because it was kind of like a foreign topic that we knew about, but we just didn't have the resources. We didn't have access to that recognition at that time, and I feel like that was the right because we drove straight to the Boys and Girls Club to celebrate with everybody because it felt straight to the Boys and Girls Club to celebrate with everybody. It felt like our ancestors were in the room. Like,
absolutely.
Honestly, whenever I think back, it felt like it was spiritual. That's the best way I could explain it. To hear that drum whenever it was finally passed.
Right.
It was out of body, and I think that we have forgotten that feeling. There's been a lot of negativity, just things circulating, and I feel like we need to remember why we started this process to begin with. That's like a motto that I use.
Absolutely.
Just every day is we need to remember why we started. We need to remember why we fought for so long for this. Use that as fuel for motivation. And it's like it's a generational opportunity. It really is, and I think that with this amendment, it is also a generational opportunity.
Yes. Yes.
Because why not now? Why not now? We've waited for so long, and we've endured so much bad things, oppression, we just have a lot of young people who need these resources, and I feel like we do need to shift the mindset, and we need to think about the 7 generations to come, not the 7 generations before, not even the 7 generations now, but we have to look forward to the 7 generations to come, and use that perspective, build on that perspective in order to effectively move forward with our recognition, with the opportunities that we have. We just have to trust each other. Obviously, we want to trust our elders. We want to listen to our elders, but I think that that's also full circle too, in that our elders have to trust us.
Absolutely.
Like I said earlier. So I think once we kind of come together and we establish that, we all have a seat at this table.
Yes.
I think we can move forward.
And we're not on the menu, as Larry Townsend could say, because we're at the table.
Right. We're already here. We're here. We made it. We just got to figure out what we're going to order.
Right. Boy, that is powerful stuff right there, coming from our future generational leaders.
And
go ahead, Josie.
To harp on that, one of my favorite characters in the Bible is Esther.
There you go.
And my favorite thing she says is, "Suppose I was made for a time like this," and it almost makes me emotional because
we're
in this time right now.
Right.
And I remember where I was at when I found out we had been recognized, and I was in Lumbee Outfitters, and I was working. I was folding up, and Miss Kim kept coming in, and she was like, "Have they said anything yet?" And then we had people shopping, and they were, "Have you already got your 575 shirts out?" Like, it's coming. I was like, "No, not yet." But and then they finally passed it, and I was on the way home, and I was just thinking about it. And then I had one of my friends, and she stays in Greensboro, and she's a white girl, and she had texted me, and she was like, "Congratulations." She plays soccer at UNCP, and it made me instantly think of my first interaction with her. And it wasn't like bad. Some people could have taken it bad, but it was the first day of preseason, and the team had went to Jersey Mike's, and we were all meeting each other, and she heard me speak, and she heard my accent, and she goes, "Are you a Lumbee?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, I saw like white girls or like black girls or mixed girls, so I was the only Lumbee. I was like, "Yeah, I am." And she goes, "I haven't heard good things about Lumbees." And I was like taken aback, because I'm like, "What do you want me to say about that?" But over time, she met a lot of my friends, and she realized, it's not just this stereotype.
Right.
People like to put us in a category. But we had like she has shared classes with some of my friends, and through me, like, she had met them, and she'd have to like reach out to them, and sometimes they would help her with like assignments or anything. So she got to understand, like, we are a group of people, but like, we're a community, and we take care of one another, and we were able to show that. Like, she's been to my house, and my mama has cooked for her, and she's like,
a nice little shack y'all live in too.
And she didn't have that in Greensboro. She's like, my mama doesn't cook like this. So through that, like, I was able to like show her, like, the Lumbee people are not just a stereotype. We're not in a box. You can't put us in a box, And so I felt very, like, it was a full circle moment when she had texted me and reached out to me and said congratulations, because I was like, at first, you were skeptical, and it just had me feeling very inspired. Like, okay, I'm glad I was able to tell like, show her, like, and be a representative of the Lumbee people as well. So I was very emotional when, we got federally recognized, because I'm like, a lot of people don't understand that. And being on campus, so I stay on campus too, so I have the best of both worlds. I'm able to come home, but I'm also able to be a part of the UNCP student community.
Enjoy the full college experience.
Yeah, the full experience, right? Yeah. And so I have a lot of friends who are like athletes on campus, and they're like 6 hours away from home, or they're from overseas. Like, I had a friend from Sweden, and she didn't know anything about Native Americans. She didn't even know what that was. And even the girls who were 2 hours away, you would think, like, they would no idea. So I was able to, like, share my culture and my community, invite them over to my house, and just, like, show them, so they were unaware of, like, the fight that had been going on for years. And
right.
Like, so with all this coming up, like, and up to the recognition and everything, getting recognized, they were able to be a part of, and I was able to share it with them. So it's like, I never felt like I had been so involved in my life until this year, because I was surrounded by people who weren't Lumbee, and I was able to share that with them. So able to educate them as well. And it was really such a good experience to see like us to get recognized and for them to understand as well what it meant and how significant it was. So it was so uplifting.
Well, that's pretty impressive. So you girls live with the same kind of feelings that we all did, I guess.
Right.
Now, what was it like for you, Madison? You know, coming up and, you know, knowing who you are, knowing who your people are, but everybody else doesn't know you, and then, you know, not being from not being fully federally recognized. What was that like for you? How big of a struggle was it?
Well, I would say, oh, you're gonna make me cry. When I was little,
Let it out, baby. Let it out.
My grandmother, my mama, she's more of on a white side, so she doesn't really get involved. It's my daddy who's the one who's lucky. And his mama was the one that would get involved.
Marie.
But unfortunately, she had breast cancer, so she couldn't do much. So it would be my cousins. And you know, how family things work, and if family members die, it happens. So when that happened, unfortunately, I kind of lost contact with those cousins. So it felt like I was losing contact with that side of the family. Even though I lived in Pembroke, even though I went to town, I was going to UNCP, I was going to powwows, I didn't understand the meaning behind it. It was just like a thing you did, you know? I didn't really understand the deep meaning of it until middle school, actually, until I met one of my best friends who had been involved her whole life. She had the beaded earrings, she had the ribbon skirt, she had the moccasins, she went to the powwow, she danced when she was younger, all of it. And she was the one who kind of put me into the circle and into the situations and to where I could talk about being Lumbee. And it wasn't really until high school where I really got to talk about it and feel like I earned the right to talk about it, because that was a big thing when I was little. I felt like I couldn't say I was Lumbee because I didn't feel like I was, because I didn't feel like I had the background behind to say I was. So to grow up and to not have that, but your friends do, it's hard, because you want to be able to experience that and you want to be able to share that, but you feel like you can't because you don't have the knowledge behind it. And I think I still see this now in NCNAO, because I'm a historian, so I do our social media. Yeah, I'm like you, come on.
My cousin.
I see a lot of kids who come in with that same feeling, and I think that's why I'm so passionate about it now, because I was that kid who felt like she couldn't talk about it because she didn't know anything. And so these kids come in and they break my heart because they want to be a part of stuff and they want to wear the outfits and wear the beaded earrings and, you know, just live that lifestyle, but they can't because they feel like they didn't grow up with it. So having that and changing that was a huge thing for me. So now I don't go anywhere without a pair of beaded earrings or without, and half my closet is like
this is
BJ.
Maddie's shirt. I
Yeah,
have Maddie's shirt.
Oh, that's
This is Madison.
Yeah.
Show these shirts off too,
Yeah,
y'all.
like,
Look what my
we
girls
got
are
a
rocking
rail.
here.
We got two.
Got college.
Yeah. So like half my closet is like Lumbee a tiger. Like I'm not going anywhere.
Maddie was like, "Which one do you want? I
Yeah,
have
got a
all
bunch.
these.
Which
What
one?"
color?"
And it's so crazy because I went to Charlotte to shop for a prom dress, and I'm wearing my I think I wore that shirt actually. And some woman,
You know, I just did an interview with a lady like before I came here, and she had on the same exact shirt.
and some woman came up to me and she goes, "Are you Lumbee?" And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." I was like, "Can you tell?" And she was like, "Oh my gosh," she was like, "I love coming down to Pembroke to see y'all." She was like, "It's amazing. Like I live in Hope Mills, but I just love coming to see y'all during powwows." And I was like, "I'm glad I could represent for you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad you got to see one outside of, you know, Robeson County." but yeah, like so being like full federally recognized, I'm so glad that I was able to be in my culture when it happened, because I could not imagine not having that kind of connection, and then it happens and I'm like, well,
Not understanding the
not
significance.
understanding like how
Right.
significant it is. And that's why I push so hard in NCNAO, and why I want these kids to understand that just because you didn't grow up in it does not mean that you can't have it.
Right.
It does not mean that you can't talk about it or you can't learn, because I'm always learning. Every day I'm learning something new. Like being here, I have learned so many things, and
Right.
it just adds to my little book in my head that I can talk about when I get to NCNAO, because I'm actually going to NCNAO this week.
Okay.
So we have it in Campbell, and so I'm just so excited
Oh,
to bring
cool.
this knowledge, because I know people are going to
Well, hey, you
ask.
had to
Yeah.
get with me now, so I
Yeah.
can give you some Lumbee stuff to talk about.
I got you.
And when you get back to UNCP, now get
Right.
me in there so I
And
can
like
talk
going
to
to
those
UNCP,
kids.
like I didn't know the significance behind it until I got older. I didn't know that it was built for our community.
Yeah.
That so like just learning that is something that I push for in McNair with these kids because I want them to know that just because you didn't grow up does not mean you can't learn. You can still learn. There's something to learn
Right.
every day.
Matter of fact, I'll tell you what we're going to do when we get finished here. We're going to take a trip, and I'm going to take you across town, and I'm going to show you where the original site of the university was,
Okay.
the Croatan Indian Normal School. And give you a little history on the way over there when it was founded and who it was founded by. I had three ancestors, a great third grade uncle,
Come on.
John J. Oxendine, my great great grandfather, Arlen Oxendine, and my third great grandfather, his dad, Big Jim Oxendine. And,
I love to hear the
that-
Oxendine.
I know that's. I keep saying my cousin now,
What
but you
to
know we're
say?
only half kidding on that.
Yeah.
But you know what? When you look into this stuff and you find out a little bit about your history, it does give you that sense of pride.
It
So what is that
it
like?
makes you sit up straighter.
It does. Throw your shoulders
Right.
back.
Yep.
So I want to. Are you zoomed in on me, Asa? Zoom in on me, cameraman. I got a message to the public schools of Robertson County and the Lumbee Tribe and UNC Pembroke, all of these education centers here. Make sure that we get these. We had these talented young Lumbee ladies here, very smart. Make sure we get them some curriculum in the school system so that they can learn about who they are and where they came from. So that when they are in Chapel Hill, whenever Maddie goes to doctorate school, whenever Josie, I'm pretty sure you're going to law school somewhere. When she's at Duke Law School or Chapel Hill Law School or Stanford or Yale or Harvard or wherever, when somebody asks her if she's Lumbee, she can come back and tell them, yes, I'm Lumbee. This is about my people. But we have to educate our students. How important do you guys, how important is that, the need to educate? Now, since I'm picking on you, Josie, we'll start with you.
I think it's super important because there is a lot of misconception about the Lumbee people, and especially to those who don't even know what a Lumbee is, or not even doesn't even know like what a Native American is, and doesn't
Right.
even know that they're still here. You know, you don't think people still think about things like that. Like you hear it, but it wasn't until like it wasn't until I started playing club in Fayetteville where they were like, "Oh, like what is a Lumbee?" Or like, and I'm like, "You stay 30 minutes away from me. It's
you
not
don't even
like
think of it.
Yeah.
like this is all I know. This is all I know. My world is here, and I step 30 minutes outside, and my world is not even known. It's not even heard about. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's like it doesn't even exist to you, and that is like a surreal feeling. I can't even still wrap my head around it. Like this is my everything almost, and you have no idea. And it's like because this is like we fight so hard and we work so hard, and you like don't even acknowledge it in a way. Like so the lack of education is something that I really think the federal recognition will push, and like more education about it. But it starts within, you know.
Right.
We need to be the ones who are pushing, because if we're not pushing that information out there,
Absolutely.
how will anybody else,
Yep.
right? So I feel like it is very important that we educate, you know, and it starts from the little ones, right? And that's because that's where that sense of pride comes from. Like you
Yes.
grow up with it, right? So I feel like that is very important and something that, you know, that we do lack. So hopefully
All right.
this
Little
will-
Dexter.
yeah.
Get you on here next.
Well,
That's her nickname, by the way.
That's my, you were neighbors. They say
It was little Jackie, but then I saw her and she had those guns. Man. So that's little Dexter there.
but I think I don't actually remember ever learning about my Lumbee identity in school.
Oh, that's sad.
At any point
Yeah.
in time. But aside from like the Native American Heritage Month program,
Right.
just Native American Heritage Month.
But then you're
period.
writing about Sitting Bull
Um,
and Geronimo and all
yes,
of them, and
yes.
you know
So
we
I-
have our own heroes.
I think whenever I first encountered my Lumbee identity, I was at those summer enrichment camps.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like I didn't recognize my Lumbee identity until I was separated from my Lumbee people.
Right.
I think, and anybody who has left, you know, our community and gone off to school or has moved away from territory, would be able to attest to this. My Lumbee identity grew exponentially. Like I was exponentially more invested in who I was as a Lumbee woman whenever I was separated from my people, because it's not until you're removed from everything you've ever known and when you get to that point and you realize, oh, I'm not like everybody else. Like, this is a very unique situation that I had an opportunity to be a part of and grow up in. And so whenever I was removed from that, I really had to create. We at Carolina Indian Circle, we talked a lot about creating our own space there, because when you move away, nobody creates space for you. Like, as Lumbee people, we're so used to being catered to here in Lumbee territory, but when you leave, nobody gives you that same luxury. So you have to create your own. You have to create your own spaces to where you can feel comfortable, and you can come together with other Native people, whether they're Lumbee or not, because there were other Native people who I went to school with at Carolina who still did not know who the Lumbee people were.
Right.
And so I think that was one of my first experiences with my passion, but also that is what fueled my passion and motivation for education in general. What fueled my whenever uneducated we are. Whenever
lack of a better term.
Uneducated we are. Whenever I
lack of a better term, and it's not. It's not our fault though.
And it's frowned upon. So realize that education can sometimes be frowned upon in our community. Realize that education can sometimes be frowned upon. So I
talk about it.
We can talk about it. So I don't really know where it came about, but just the negative connotations and stereotypes about Native people going off to school and living in their community. Yes, and thinking that you're superior in a way, or whatever the case may be. And I think that has funneled over a little bit into the amendment, and just federal recognition in general, and our leaders and our educators and our people. Education is the only thing that nobody can take away from you.
Absolutely.
My mama always told me that, I could change my name if I wanted to. She gave me that. But the only thing that we can receive and keep and hold close to our hearts forever is education.
Absolutely.
And I feel
Smart mom.
She is. I feel like we have to take more accountability and just be more motivated and wanting to learn not only more about our community and our culture, but learn about how we got to where we are right now.
Yeah.
Right. Learn about we need to talk more about why it took so long for us to get here, and why we're still so uninformed.
Right.
There are reasons, and that's when we have to take these things do not happen by mistake.
Nope.
They don't have access to our children, educating our elders, because they don't have access to children, educating our elders, because they don't have access to resources to education still, because a lot of our elders don't know how to read. A lot of our elders don't know how to get on the website, get on the internet, or get on ChatGPT and figure out how to understand something. So it starts with taking that accountability, being the first one to say, hey, I'll help you, or let me explain this a little further so that you can understand. And not just automatically assume that somebody can go pick up a paper and read it, because we know that that's not always the case. And so I think just taking a step back, reflecting, ask your elders, ask your mom and daddy, ask your grandma and grandpa, ask your friends what they know, what they don't know, and take that initiative and wanting the next person beside you, wanting Maddie or wanting Josie to understand what's going on right now, understand how we got here and what this means for us, and like I said earlier, the 7 generations to come.
Yeah.
Right. And with that understanding, I feel opens doors to opportunities.
Right.
And all these opportunities, to continue to grow, because if not, we'll be left behind,
Yeah.
and it's already been such a fight.
Thing I see is people want Pembroke to stay Pembroke. And don't get me wrong, I love Pembroke to death.
Absolutely.
But it needs to progress and see, because Okay, we're gonna get deep. Okay.
Go ahead. Let's do it.
I got into the big schools. I got into Chapel Hill. I got into State. I got into University of South Carolina.
All right.
And I shouldn't be sitting here playing tug of war of whether I want where I want to go to school, because yes, I want to go to Pembroke and I want to be able to have that experience and ease the financial burden of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
That was a huge. I kid you not. I waited until the last day to accept my Spirit of All Main scholarship, like 2 hours before it was due, because I could not battle with it in my head of where do I want to go to school, because the thought of staying here potentially could override the thought of helping my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big thing to say, because a lot of people, they don't want to put a burden on their parents, and they don't
Right.
want them to deal with something after raising you. You want to be able to take care after your parents, especially while getting an education. And so that's what really got me was, why should I have to sit here and struggle with, do I want to go to UNCP and be with my people and learn more about my culture, because I can, because it is so widely talked about at that university, but the thought of going away may override that. That's something, and I think that's a lot of especially even me just graduating last month and people graduating last week, I see that with a lot of people going away to school, it's not because, it's a great school, because Carolina is great, go Tar Heels, but not because it's a great school or, it has great opportunities. It's because it's away from Robeson County, and that shouldn't be come back.
Yes.
Because it is the home of their people. They
Right.
should want to come.
Uh-huh.
People should want to come back.
Yes.
Because it is the home of their people. They
Right.
should want to come back.
And make it better.
And make it better. Yes, they
Or
want
not,
to make it better.
or not, like you said, or not feel like you have to leave home to go get
to
a
get better
Right.
to go
opportunities.
get a better opportunity. Or in one of our public schools, we have students who fell below. 80% of my senior class was Pell Grant income, meaning that they
Yeah.
fell below our state's average household income. So 80% of my seniors are already at a disadvantage.
Yep.
Just because they're growing up in a single parent household.
Mm-hmm.
May not have any sort of income, may be relying on Social Security or disability, whatever
Right.
the case may be. And so
Social services.
Yes, and
Yeah.
so that's not even an option. Going off to UNC Chapel Hill is not even an option for. I think something that has been a really big issue recently with the amendment coming up and the vote is just fear, and the fear of the unknown, and something being offered to us that we've never experienced before or never had the opportunity to experience before, because these opportunities are offered to indigenous tribes, to federally recognized tribes, every time they're able to.
It's a right that we have.
It's a right. It
Yeah.
is. It's a fundamental right.
There you go.
And the second you get comfortable, or you're content, or you're just complacent
Right.
with what you have, the second you say, okay, I'm good with what I have, you're limiting yourself to all of the things that you could have if you expanded your comfort zone. Something that my grandpa Dexter told me was, as soon as you leave your comfort zone, you're growing as a person, you're growing as an individual, you're expanding your perspective. As soon as you're uncomfortable with something, it doesn't mean that it has to be in a bad way. Just because something makes you feel uncomfortable, or just because change is on the horizon, doesn't mean that we have to be scared of it. And we have reasons to be afraid of what resources like a casino or a resort could do. But once you've hit rock bottom,
Yeah.
there's nowhere to go but up.
Which is where we are right now.
Exactly.
Right.
Once you're at the very bottom of the totem pole, and I
Mhm.
think it was Mr. Andy Brayboy, whenever he did his he said that we're the best in every worst category.
Right. And worse than every good category.
Exactly. And so whenever you hear that, it hit me.
We are the rock bottom.
We are at rock bottom.
Right.
So whenever somebody offers you an engine,
All right, there you go.
whenever somebody offers you an engine or something that that could stabilize us in a way that we could actually make progress from being at rock bottom. Like, statistically, it's impossible to get any worse. So why not take the chance? Why not now? Why not invest in our future 7 generations? Because we're the ones that are gonna be leading our tribe. We're gonna be the future tribal leaders. We're gonna be the future business owners.
Yeah.
We're gonna be the future teachers.
Lawyers, doctors, all of that.
Yes, we're gonna be the ones raising those children.
Yeah, and if the generations before us did not stop and they continue to fight and press on, then why should we be satisfied now?
Exactly.
You know, why does that is instilled in us to continue to grow?
Exactly.
Why should we be content now? No, there's so much more
There's
to
so
be
much
doing.
more.
We can't stop now. They didn't stop,
Yeah, so why should
so
we?
why should we?
Exactly.
Well, this right now, the sad thing to me is there's so much infighting. There's so much jealousy. There's so much envy. There's so much negativity. And we should be at the happiest point of our lives as tribal members. Y'all agree with that?
Right.
Yes.
6 months ago, we were.
We were.
6
Yeah.
months, and now it's
And look
like
at us now.
a 180. And we, like I said, we have to get back to why we even started that fight to
Right.
begin with, and it wasn't just to be recognized
Mm-hmm.
and that be it. That was never the goal. The goal was to reap all of the benefits that we possibly could from that. And a lot of times we don't get say-so in every little
Right.
thing.
Right.
In every little thing that happens, and that's okay. Like, nobody should. We can't please.
Micromanaging.
Yes, we
Yes.
can't micromanage. We have to trust our leaders.
Absolutely.
we have
Autonomy. You got to give it
Yes.
to them. That's why we put them in office.
Yeah, and I believe there are so many other people who are wishing for this opportunity. There are
Yes.
so many other tribes
Yes.
that do not have this opportunity. So we have this opportunity. Why do we not take it? You know, like I
Or
feel
have the resources to be proactive in
Absolutely.
doing so.
you know,
There's so many tribes that like so many kids who come up and they're like, oh my gosh, congratulations, I wish it was us. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
Right.
congratulations, I wish our people could have this.
because it's opening
So-
doors.
So why are we being so negative?
Yeah, I know
I feel
what
like
you mean.
we're
It's
looking at it in the wrong
frustrating.
lighting.
Yes,
It
yeah,
is.
we have to switch our mindset. We've been oppressed for so
Well,
long.
Uh-huh.
We that mindset has been instilled in us that, we have to work till our backs break. When in reality there are always alternatives to make things more efficient. And so I think although it's uncomfortable, although it's going to be a huge change, we were never supposed to be content with what is
Right,
around us right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we were never supposed to be content with just federal recognition and
Right.
government benefits.
Right.
That was not that's not the purpose of federal recognition or full
Mhm.
sovereignty.
Right.
And so I think we have to be more proactive in switching our mindsets, and
Uh-huh.
also in being more forward thinking, because right now we are stuck in between a rock and a hard place.
And and I do feel like there is a lot of fear because when we're all on the same page, look what happens. Like, look what happened when we're all together.
Right.
So
Unified.
when we're unified, look at the things that can happen. So I
Mhm.
feel like fear from like other outside areas are trying to plant that fear within us to split
Right.
us, because if we're divided, then we can't do the things that we could if we were unified, right? So I feel like there's a lot of outside noise trying to split us up, right? But like when we come together, I don't think there's really much that could
And
stop
just
us.
look at the eagle on the back of the dollar bill. His claws. He's got 13 arrows in there, which represent the 13 colonies.
Right.
All right. One arrow will snap, right? It's not strong. But if you put 13 of them together, guess what?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we got, they say 69,000, but it's probably closer to 100,000. Some wonderful, smart people. But right now, with all the infighting and all the fussing and the negativity going on out there, the rest of the world's watching y'all.
Absolutely.
Please tone it down. You have some of our brightest and our best right here in front of me
That's
now.
what's so frustrating. I'm gonna brag on us because I can.
Well, do it. Please do.
We're sitting here. We're Cobell scholars. We're
Right.
in master programs. We're
Right.
in full rides, and it's so frustrating because we are working our tails off to prove that we are more than what people are trying to make us
Yes.
to be.
Killing that stereotype.
Absolutely.
But because one thing got brought up, because a resort or a casino got brought up, it's like it's backtracking. So it's like all of our hard work I'm not going to say go unnoticed because we are getting noticed.
Going in reverse, though.
But it is.
Yeah.
And it's not just us. Like, there's so many people just in Pembroke that I could brag about who are doctors, who are lawyers, who are doing so many great things for our community. But we're not focusing on that because we're arguing over a resort.
Right.
We're arguing over something that could help our people. I mean, I get it's not exactly what everyone would have picked, but I mean, you can't be picky.
Right.
If it helps our people, if it helps our children, people want to talk crap about Pembroke all the time, saying we're uneducated and that, you know, we're a town full of just lums and rednecks and that we don't know how to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here, we're fighting, we're living proof that we are trying to get an education and trying to
better ourselves. Yep.
And to be and to just prove that we, like, Indians can be smart people. Native Americans can be smart people who can be, you know, amazing human beings. But when you try to fight us on something that could bring in positivity and that could bring in the education and the money that we need, you gotta pick a battle.
Like, why are we getting shamed for
either you
trying
want
to
our
better
community to
ourselves?
be better or you don't.
Yeah.
Like, you can't sit here and be mad that Pembroke's the way it is, but when we try to bring in something that could help it, you want to be mad at that.
Right.
You gotta pick a lane.
It's-
A lane
it's-
has to be picked.
Yeah, and you got to go with it.
You do. You gotta stick with it.
It's a great
But the
point.
thing is, we have such a golden opportunity here in front of us. We have the ideal location,
Absolutely.
have the ideal concept. I mean, who would not want to
Exactly.
to visit
Who would
something
not
like that?
Take a chance.
We
like-
literally have,
And we have people fussing about gaming, but I mean, it's not only gaming. There's other,
Yeah.
you know, I don't game.
Yeah.
I don't
Gaming
drink
is-
either.
It's not for everybody.
But guess what? I'm glad-
10%
No,
of,
yeah,
of
it's
the resort.
well,
Yeah.
no, it's not even that much. But see, we have liquor stores, and
Yeah.
when the road was closed up time, I drove by the liquor store every day. I don't
Sure
stop.
did.
Right.
But I'm glad it's there. You know why? I lost 2 cousins. Rest in peace, my cousin Harlan Chavis and my cousin Ronald Brewer. 2 talented athletes. You know what killed them? Bad liquor. And I mean, my cousin Harlan was he was a shade or 2 broader than me in the shoulder with a 32-inch waist. Just a strong person. And my cousin Ronald, one of the best pitchers in here ever. But somebody just gave them bad liquor. And you don't have that problem now. You know why? It's regulated by the government.
Right.
And you have so many people out here now.
Like,
And
it's
guess what?
gonna-
They're
yeah.
gambling already.
It's gonna
But
happen regardless.
it's not regulated, and they've been taken advantage of a lot of times. But we need something that's regulated, and we need to have
Right.
have oversight on it.
Right.
And that's
It's
what
just-
people
yeah,
don't
it's gonna-
recognize.
It's gonna happen regardless. Why not reap the benefits?
Well, and see, if we don't do it, South Carolina's going to do
Right.
it.
Somebody's gonna
Somebody's
do
And
it.
if
gonna
South
jump on
Carolina
board.
does it, guess
Somebody's
what?
going to.
We're clipped. We're going
Right.
to lose billions, not millions now, with a B, billions.
Yep.
And by the time you get to your 7th generation, guess how many billions you could have there?
Right.
Guess how far this tribe could move forward.
And also, the resort would open so many job opportunities as well. Like, I have a friend, she's a digital marketing major, but there aren't any jobs available for her down here. Like, there's, with her degree, she doesn't have jobs, but with that resort, there would be so many different types of jobs that aren't available in Robinson County. So she's having to go off, and she's having to stay gone for her job that she's going to get, right? But with that, she would be able to come back and pour back into her community, and then that opens doors to people who want to continue on that pathway as well, like that career, you know. So she would be able to come back and help her community as well. So that just opens doors
why
to
not
different
bring it home?
opportunities as well.
Yeah. And then you look at one other thing. You know, your dad's roots are down there in Fairmont and West Lumberton. You know, those towns, they're going to benefit from it. Roland, you say you love Roland too?
I was just gonna say, piggybacking off of what Josie was saying about that resort creating jobs, it also creates more economic mobility for everything around the
There
resort.
you go.
You know, Roland and Fairmont are very rural towns.
Yeah.
They're really small,
Absolutely.
couple stoplights in both places.
And where
I
do we-
remember my dad would always go get me and him lunch whenever I was a student at South Rob. But, you know, the only food options available in Roland was the BP.
The BP.
And so then you get into
Get
like...
you a fish sandwich
Not
across the
even
street
that.
over there
They
too.
don't have
Now.
a
Not, yes, and Fairmont only has a McDonald's. And so then you get into food insecurity and just the options and and resources that would be available to those towns. Just because we put a resort off the side of 95, those towns are gonna grow. Pembroke's gonna grow.
It's a domino
It
effect.
creates more jobs for all of the businesses surrounding the resort, because you got to think, if we need table dealers, if we need people to train the table, we need those programs here, right? We're not just gonna put a resort here and not also, give
RCC.
ourselves the resources to work there.
UNC Pembroke.
Right,
Right.
but that's common practice. If we're gonna build a Lumbee-owned resort, we're gonna make sure our Lumbee people have the opportunity or access to have that education in order
Training.
to go work there.
Uh-huh.
That's we're not that shallow. We're not shallow-minded people. We
Right.
think about others too.
Uh-huh.
And so, just thinking about all of our small business owners, all of our Lumbee businesses, the kind of access, the kind of opportunity that would allow them, it's just,
It's
you
incredible.
can't even fathom it, because
Right.
we've never had the opportunity
Right.
ever laid in front of us to be able
could
to
you
take
imagine a
advantage of
BJack
that.
store?
Exactly.
Are you
BJack
kidding me?
store.
Like my
Yes.
entire I know I talk about scholarship money, but that scholarship money would be going to that BJack store. You could not stop me ever
Couldn't keep you
if
out.
that came. If that's what it was.
Yeah.
It's just it seemed like it could bring so much.
And
So much good.
also, like Josie was, in jobs, it brings more academic programs to
Right.
to UNCP, which brings
More
more jobs
education.
to
Which more
UNCP, which
Uh-huh.
brings more money to UNCP, and so
And more money to Pembroke.
More money
yes,
to
town. Yeah.
yes,
Increase
and,
your tax base.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think there's been a lot of talk about addiction
Yeah.
and drug abuse and alcoholism, and like we said, we're bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
I firmly, my family, both sides of my family have struggled with addiction for generations.
You're talking to one. I've been 31 years clean as of May 26th.
Come on.
Yeah.
Generations of just oppression,
Yeah.
which leads to those things.
Yes.
And so take it easy on our Lumbee people when we talk about addiction and drug abuse, because we have been oppressed for so long, and we can't control what people turn to whenever they're going through what they're going through. What we can do
Absolutely.
is hold ourselves accountable and make sure that we're taking care of that family member, or we're getting that family member the help
Try to
that
keep
they
them
need.
lifted up.
Connect
Right.
them to the resources
Yeah.
that they need. And we need facilities. We need more facilities. When you're at the bottom of the totem pole and you have 2 or 3 facilities, maybe in our entire county, we need residential facilities where
Yes.
people can go and they can be removed from toxic environments. And in order to do that,
You need money.
we have to pay for that. The
Right.
government is only going to give us
Indian Health
so
Services
much money.
won't cover it.
They're
Yeah.
only going to give us so much money,
Uh-huh.
and we're not going to get no paycheck. We're one of the largest now federally recognized tribes in this country.
Right. Largest. I think we're number 9 nationally,
Yes.
and we're the
Nine,
largest on this side of the
On-
Mississippi.
On the east.
Yeah.
So it's our responsibility. It's not the government's responsibility.
Right.
It's not
Self-sufficient.
anybody- It's our
Yes.
Because
yes,
if we don't
have
take
to
care of
be-
ourselves, who will?
Yeah.
We have
Yeah,
to
there
be
you go.
self-sufficient. Nobody's going to
Yeah.
do it for us. They haven't. So why do we think they're going to do it
Yeah.
now?
And not be dependent upon the government.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you
right.
want, this is a right that you have as a native tribe, is the game. And there's so many regulations in place. People are saying that, they're going to be corrupt with the money. They're going to do this and do. You can't do diddly with the money. And please zoom in on me. Let me tell you this: the tribal chairman does not hold all the power here. We live in a democracy. The tribal chairman can only make a recommendation to the tribal council. They can say yay or nay. And at the end of the day, guess what? Neither one of them have control over it. That lies within the federal government, their oversight. And you have to follow the regulations set forth by the Indian Gaming Commission. There's only 5 areas you can spend that money in. You got to be tight with it. They're going to come in and do an independent audit every year.
Yes.
And guess who's going to oversee it? The National Indian Gaming Commission.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So there are so many checks and balances in there. But we seem to be fighting.
Each other.
We're fighting over pennies, and we got $100 bills at stake here.
Mm-hmm.
How disappointing is that for you? Coming from where we were
It's
just 6 months ago
frustrating.
and then to now, how frustrating is it?
I kid you not, it breaks my heart every time I go on Facebook because, like I said, and I will keep repeating, there's so many others who would jump for this opportunity.
Right.
There are so many other tribes who would love to see these benefits in their own communities that could strive, that could send their native students to school and to get their education to come back and make their communities better. And I can only imagine how they feel watching from the outside in at us like destroying each other over this.
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
Because I'm telling you, if it was like a possibility, I would not. What am I trying to say? It's coming to me, y'all. I
You're
promise.
good.
But if it was a possibility of like federal recognition being taken and given to somebody else, I feel like they would be the first ones in line. Not to like talk bad about them, because I'm not. But I'm saying they've seen what we're doing with it, and it's ridiculous.
Right.
It's frustrating because, like I said earlier, we're breaking our backs to do this community justice, to make this community better, and when we're given an opportunity that could, push us forward, because not to say that we're not making progress, but we are, because we are, but it's little by little. It's baby steps. This is like this is a giant footstep, and nobody is taking it as severe as it should be, as it should be, because yes, you have people in this community working to make this community better, but we can only do so much. We can only do so much with what we have in this community. Why not bring more in? Why not make it easier? Why not make it, because I don't want my parents to struggle trying to send me to college, because I'm trying to make my community better when I could have an opportunity, something come in that could give me that education. You see, like, and there's like, again, like, you have so many young people, because we have a lot of children around here. There's a lot of kids still growing up in this community who could benefit from that, who wouldn't have to struggle and stay up the late nights applying to all of these scholarships and all of these different programs that could just make a little dent in what our parents would have to pay for, or even not even our parents, because a lot of people don't have like parents
coming out of med school, 100,000 in the hole,
who could give that money.
I would also,
Right.
bouncing off that, Maddie, my parents have their own student loans. Their parents couldn't pay for their school.
Yeah.
They had to take out their student loans, which means they couldn't pay for my school, which means I had to, accountability. What's the word you used earlier, Mr. James? Self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
Not waiting for people to give you something. We're not waiting for people to hand you an opportunity. You got to work for it.
Right.
Nobody is going, especially as Indigenous women, nobody is handing us anything.
Right.
We're not getting any
Absolutely.
handouts.
Yes.
And so,
A double minority. Never forget that.
exactly,
You're a minority
Native-
plus you're a woman, so that's
Native people
and then you're a Lumbee, so that makes you a triple minority.
Native people at Chapel Hill, we were less than 1% of the student population
Yeah.
at UNC Chapel Hill.
I think nationally we finally got to the point where we're 1% of the U.S. population.
Yes.
But yeah.
And so we have to stop waiting, and like I said, take accountability for ourselves. And I also it starts internally.
Right.
But once you've made that shift, it's also our responsibility to, like I said earlier, hold each other accountable.
Yes.
Because we shouldn't have just as many kids in foster care as Mecklenburg County.
No.
We shouldn't.
Absolutely.
We should not be last in every best in every worst category
Last
and
in
last
every
in every, but we
good.
should not.
Yes.
We have a university. Look at what we did without federal recognition.
Right.
Look at what we did all of these years. We built our own school.
Yes.
We have our own tribe. We had our own tribal government. We had our own housing authority. We had our own banks. We had lawyers.
Yeah.
Imagine what we could do with all of the benefits.
It
We
is
did all of that
absolutely
without the benefits.
Right.
And you see what kind of hole we had. We dug ourselves into. It, we had benefits. We reaped some of the benefits of all of those things, but we have dug ourselves in a hole because we don't want things to change. And we want to have faith in the unknown, but we also have to have faith in our own decisions that we make.
Yes.
Right.
It's one thing to have faith in the unknown, but it's another thing to be confident enough in yourself and our Lumbee identity and our Lumbee people to say, okay, we're going to do this. But we got to trust each other and we got to have faith.
Yes, something has to change.
Yes, we have to.
Yes.
The negative,
the fear.
The
fear,
fighting and
because I kid you not.
going back and not trusting your young people to be advocates.
Right.
And that goes again with education. Like, we shouldn't frown upon somebody being very educated.
Absolutely.
Or we shouldn't feel a distrust or a disconnect between one of my Lumbee brothers or sisters who's not very educated and one who is.
Right.
There should not be a sense of a threat. We shouldn't feel threatened by education.
Right.
Because we were threatened with our education for so long. We couldn't even go to school.
No, we couldn't.
We weren't allowed to go to school.
No, didn't have schools to go to. And I'll be honest with you, years ago, my grandmother was a graduate. You know how she graduated? She made it to the 7th grade. And I'm talking about my great grandmother. My great grandmother was a school teacher. She was actually able to teach school over at Oxendine because she graduated school. And see, back then you went to school about 3 months out of the year.
Yep.
After the harvest was in, you go in November, December, January. Then once February started to roll around, then hey, it's time to get back out in the fields and get it.
Yeah.
So we've come so far, and just looking back, and remember, I'm gonna take you guys on a ride when we leave here, and we're gonna go see that spot because that'll motivate you even more. Just knowing where our family started and where we are now.
We have done so much to get to where we are. Like, it breaks my heart when I hear people talk about, because I'm gonna be real, because I have talked about it. Like, when I grow older and I get into a relationship and I have children, moving away from here, not because I don't love it, not because it's not the home of my people, not because my parents are 5 minutes down the street.
Where you don't have
it's because we don't have anything,
resources,
and it breaks my heart because I want my kids to grow up
Right.
not only the way I did, but better than I did. I want them to grow up knowing about powwows. I want them to grow up knowing that they can look down the street and see somebody who looks like them, who can understand what they go through. Because there's so many times, I went to school in Lumberton, and people still did not think I was Native American. One girl walked up to me speaking Spanish because she thought I just wasn't Native American. I've had people think I was Blasian. I've had people think like I was mixed. Like, I have people they have come up with the most mixed thing I think of, all because they just didn't think I was Native American, which is insane to me, because you come 15 minutes down the street and that's all you see.
Absolutely.
I want my kids to grow up like that.
And to harp over what you kind of talked about earlier, so this is what I wrote my essay about for my Old Main scholarship. So I talked about how my great grandma, she looked.
Who was she?
Phoenicia Oxendine.
Phoenicia Oxendine.
Yeah.
Right.
Girl,
Well,
we
y'all
cousins.
You might be.
we got that Oxendine connection. We're going to have to get you in there too, little Dex.
I know,
Get
we
your
gotta finish
Oxendine
our
connection.
Oxendine lineage now.
Yeah. So Phoenicia, your
Yeah.
great grandmother.
Yes. So that's my my papa's mom. So
Yeah.
my mom's grandma.
Well, tell us
Right.
about your essay.
Oh, okay. So it was talking about why do you have that spirit for the building Old Main and everything, and it had talked about its resilience, though it had been burned down before. They rebuilt it, and how does that speak to you? So, I spoke on how she looked at her life, and she had all these brothers and sisters, and they worked on the farm, and she was gonna have to quit school and help on the farm, but she asked her dad. She was like, can I go to school? And he's like, if you can find a ride. So she walked.
Wow.
Yeah. So she was like, this isn't the life I want. I don't want to just be a farmer and just continue to struggle for the rest of my life. So she walked, and she would walk, and somebody maybe on the side of the road would pick her up if they were heading in that direction. And she got her education. She was one of the first women to graduate in that part. But so, she wanted better. Okay, so then that comes to me. I want better. So I can't look at what I have and say, oh, this is the best. That's it.
Yeah.
My children will just say,
This
this is the best.
Or we can't just look at, being rock bottom and say we can wait a little longer.
Well, there you go.
Because then our burden will go into our children.
Exactly. Because we're going to, another 7 generations will have passed if we continue to
Right.
wait.
Absolutely.
We're not guaranteed.
Why did they waited?
Exactly. What if they would have waited?
What
and
if
then I would have quit
What if
school.
Miss Phoenicia would have stayed on the farm and wouldn't have had the gumption to walk?
Right.
Yeah, and then so. Yeah.
Yeah, boy, I tell you what, we could just keep going on and on and
We
on.
could.
Got these famous scholars here and scholar athlete on the end. I was half of that now. I was an athlete. I played at Fayetteville State. I'm a football player. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, we didn't have it at Pembroke back then. I'm actually a Pembroke graduate, though.
Okay.
My wife's a double graduate. And, yeah, a lot of great memories there.
Yes.
But I just want to thank each and every one. Well, we could just keep going on and
We
on and on
could.
here because
I'm
y'all
telling
just
you.
on a
I
roll.
mean, we can say our last thoughts.
We're getting ready to get to that because, I just feel sorry for whoever's coming up behind y'all, boy.
Right.
They're going to, y'all just set the bar way up there.
I'm glad.
But, yeah, and while we're at it, I mean, shoot, we had to get y'all back on here, too. Yeah, and I'm proud of it. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
Absolutely, I'm proud of it.
Thank you.
You've made my whole year right here. You've taken me from down here back up here. 'Cause it's frustrating, especially with what I do. And
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'ma tell you-
Imagine young people how
yeah,
we feel.
Yes.
but I want to tell you about, I'm an advocate for the people. I know I'm a journalist, and people are, well, you got to be unbiased. You got to be, no, you don't. I'm an advocate. I've got to push for what I think is right for my people. And, you're my people. And a couple of you look like absolutely might be distant kin there. But anyway, regardless, you're still my people. And I love you. And I thank you for coming here. And with that
course.
said, what's your final thoughts? We'll start down here with you, Maddie.
Our young people deserve better. We deserve better. We deserve to not wake up every morning and think about how fast we can get out of this county. We don't deserve that. I shouldn't have to go to another town to get a good education. I
Yeah.
shouldn't have to.
That's
And
great.
so we deserve better.
And your Aunt Jessica should be getting woke up at 3 o'clock in the
Yes.
morning because some detective
dead.
way across Robertson County's got to
Yeah.
get whatever charges they're going to face against somebody. But yeah, and I had to throw that in. Matt's my neighbor.
Yes.
He lives across the field from me. But what are your
Oh, you live in that house.
yeah? What are your final thoughts?
I try not to get
Go
emotional.
ahead, let it fly. If
But-
you got it, baby.
Like Maddie said, we deserve so much better than what we currently have, and for people to think that we have time to wait is just selfish. We have to stop being so self-absorbed and just step outside of our bodies for a second and actually listen to the issues and the struggles that our community is facing, put our personal connections to those issues aside, and look at the opportunity that we have in front of us. Because if we continue to wait, if we continue to just sit around and talk but don't do anything about it,
Right.
we might as well send the federal recognition back.
Right.
Well, there you go.
If we don't want to take advantage of the opportunities that have been presented to us, then I think we need to revisit, why we asked for federal recognition to begin with. And I also think that from all of this, I hope that we've learned a lesson about, regardless of how the vote goes, regardless of if we can dig ourselves out of this hole or not, we have to be more kind to each other. I think
Yes.
there's
Yes, got to
love
be.
is patient, love is kind, love is
Yes.
not boastful. We have to be more kind to each. We have to be more Christ-like to one another.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Because
Great point.
Jesus, he wasn't mean. He wasn't
No.
malicious.
And he would not be happy with this mean, malicious behavior
He
that
wouldn't be
people are
happy
exhibiting
with.
now.
Yes, we have to be more
Well,
Christ-like.
he's not happy
We
with it.
have
Let
to
me just
be-
say that.
We have to be more Christ-like, and we also have to be more empathetic of one another.
Right.
It's really easy to for somebody to make a decision based off morals. It's really hard for somebody to put their morals aside and think of what could be more beneficial to our
Yes.
The
larger
possibilities.
our larger community.
Right.
And, you know, that's your own conviction. But I do think that you have to think about your neighbors to the left and right of you whenever you're making a decision on June 23rd. Because what's right for you is not going to be right for the family who can't afford to send their children to school, for the mama who raised her babies by herself. And, you know, we're relying on the federal government Pell Grant money, which is continuing to decrease every single year. Because funds keep getting cut. We can't keep relying on that. We can't rely on the government. We can't rely on anybody else but one another to progress and to grow as a people and to grow economically too.
Yes.
It's just not going to happen. We've been doing that, and this is where we are. So we have to take accountability. We need to be more kind to one another.
Yes.
And education is one thing that nobody can ever take away from you.
That's it.
Stop the fighting.
So, yes, I would encourage people to you know, we say ask questions, but I would encourage you to actually have a genuine conversation or dialogue with one of your fellow Lumbee brothers and sisters, or an elder, or a young person, because what does the Bible say about hearing information from a child? Sometimes it can come across a little different in a way that might strike a nerve. Like, young people have a voice.
Right.
We're advocating for our generation,
Boy,
just like
you
our
doing
elders
some serious advocating
are
too, trust me.
advocating for their generation. We also have a responsibility. I have a responsibility to advocate for my students, to advocate for Maddie and Josie, who are old enough to be one of my students, because not everybody can articulate things in that way. And so I think we need to be kinder. We need to be good to our young people, because they're going to be the future leaders of this tribe. And we have to come together. We have to come together because, like Josie said earlier, we're not going to get anything done on opposite sides of the table.
No.
We have to meet each other in the middle.
Yep.
And
Have to
that
work
might
together
mean-
too.
And that might mean putting some things to the side
Yep.
and being an active listener.
And doing what's right for everybody, like
Yes.
you said earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Be more Christ-like.
Yeah.
And
Miss Josie?
I'm going to kind of touch on what I said earlier about my favorite character in the Bible, Esther. You know, nobody had ever went
The
to
greatest.
Yeah.
Love
nobody
Esther.
nobody had ever went to the king before unannounced. She was scared, right? She had that fear, but you know, she said, suppose I was made for a time like this. So, and I think, why after all these years did we just get federal recognition? Why is this just happening now? You know, and I think about the people we have in place now, and like our people now in our community now. You know, maybe it didn't happen because now the people we have in our community, and you know, we have more resources, we have more connections in order to get things to happen. You know, so knowledge and awareness, and maybe we had to wait a little longer because the reward is going to be so much greater.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
You know, and if waiting a little longer means I'm going to get something better, or you know, like it's going to be better off for my people or my community, then I'm okay with waiting. But you know, I feel like we have waited long enough, and I think now is the time that we make something happen.
That is great.
Right.
Y'all know I'm a singer too, right?
Oh, yeah?
I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every byway. Oh, more. Much more than this, I did it my way. All right.
Come on.
Love it.
Do it.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Voice
ending
of
on a
an
song
angel.
there. But we're going to wrap this session up. I'll tell you what, I could just keep going on and on and on,
Right.
though. But we're going to wrap it up, and we had to get y'all back on here again. And y'all set the bar real high. And as always, just remember one thing. Your voice matters, your story matters, and your purpose matters. And God bless you all.